So here's something I didn't know. Something weird is currently happening. I'm in America. Something I never really thought would happen, but I didn't really know about this until recently. Um, I don't hear anybody talking about it either. But apparently, it seems that America has kind of split. There's kind of a divide in terms of the technology that's being used. So Gen Z right now is apparently a lot of Gen Z are actually ditching their smartphones and they're going back to flip phones. They're going back to digital cameras. They're going back to um, like basic old technology from 2005, like that I grew up. I remember growing up with like the iPod Nano. The regular iPod. We would have kids. Um, we would have kids going around when I was in middle school and high school. We would have kids going around at school. Um, Carrying iPod Nanos in their back pocket, carrying iPods in their pocket, carrying, um, old flip phones or Razor slide up phones, that had a few songs you could play on it or a ringtone you could put on it, or maybe a couple games you could play on it, but that was it. Um, so that's interesting. But according to many articles, Washington Post, NBC4, um, Gen Z ages 24 to 18, excuse me, 18 to 24, um, the amount of Gen Z that have actually been going back to old technology went up 148%. So that's very new to me. I did not know that. So apparently we have that going on. A lot of Gen Z are ditching their smartphones or going back to old technology. And the reasons for this that they've cited are um, just mental detox. They want to break from cell phones. They feel like as if their cell phones control their life. And they're just tired of social media. And you know what? I think that's not a bad idea. I think America should go back to the old technology. I think the old technology had a certain charm to it that the new technology had, right? Same with cars. Same with everything, it seems like these days. It seems like everything in America these days just breaks easily. It seems, especially technology, it just breaks easily. These iPhones that come out every year, these smartphones that we're all so addicted to, we have just glued to our faces 24/7. These things are not good for us. They're not good for us. They lower our attention spans. They take away our time, our energy, our focus on things that we could be doing better. Um, Things that would improve our health, like the gym. Things that you know would make us more productive. Um, you know, if we were to put down the smartphones, if we were, and it's not all Gen Z doing this, but it's a lot of them. A lot of Gen Z have recently been doing. There's a lot of videos that are talking about it. There's many articles that are talking about it, and I don't think that's a bad idea. I think Gen Z is on to something with this whole smartphone thing. Is with the whole smartphone, the whole internet thing, there is just constant this thing right here that I'm recording with. Although I like recording videos with you guys, it is such a distraction. It is such a time waster, and I find myself even on the weekend when I'm just like a lot of times where I'm like, all right, I gotta buckle down. I gotta get to work. I have to start, studying my programming classes because I've been really slacking on that. Or I have to, cook food because I haven't eaten dinner, or I have to take a shower. You know, I will literally be at times, on my first day off or my second day off when I wake up, I will just be on it, on YouTube, on the YouTube scrolling, on the Instagram reels, on the TikTok, just going through the reels, or just watching YouTube videos in general, or just going through notifications, or even during the day at work, I'll find myself grabbing at my smartphone in my pocket. Today, I didn't have my smartphone in my pocket. I didn't have my iPhone in my pocket for a good 2 to 3 hours, and I felt completely naked. I felt like I was missing a part of my body. Like I felt like I had an immediate need. I was almost like freaking out. It reminded me when I used to vape. I vaped for 10 years, all right? From 2012 to up until this year, I vaped. and I vaped almost every single day, and it gave me this moment at where I had at work where I was freaking out about my phone, about not having my phone in my pocket because I was charging it in the break room. It brought me back to that moment where I was just like, okay, I'm doing the same fucking thing I was doing when I was looking for my vape, freaking out about my vape if it wasn't in my pocket, or if I was driving and my vape fell like down in the seat or underneath the seat or in the crevice, I would be freaking out. But guys, it's like the same addiction. It's the same exact addiction. It feels like it really is. It fries your dopamine, it fries your serotonin. All this instant pleasure that we're constantly giving ourselves, that's not doing anything with reel after reel after reel with of TikTok, of Instagram, of YouTube, or whatever the fuck you're filling your head with, Pornhub, whatever you're filling with your head with, it doesn't do you any good. And you wonder why we're all depressed. You wonder why we're all fucking robots. We're like zombie robots. We're like literally like, is there any difference? I saw a picture that perfectly encapsulated the majority of young people today, and that's like the face hugger alien with a smartphone attached to its body, because that's what we are. We are essentially robots. And now, even to make matters worse, we're physically injecting, some of us physically injecting ourselves with an actual microchip to buy food. Like, how ridiculous. Like, we went from cash to credit card. Now we are injecting ourselves with microchips. In Sweden, places like Sweden have already been doing this for years, injecting themselves with microchips. And to buy food, waving their hand in front of a register or in front of a tablet to buy food. And it's just like, this is all part of the conditioning. You don't know how bad we don't know how bad it has gotten until we're just realizing how bad it's gotten, because it starts in slowly. It seeps in slowly. Just like when I talk about how narcissistic abuse is, it starts slow. The abuse starts slow. It's like an abusive relationship. It starts slow, and then it builds up, and then it builds up, and then it builds up, and you get Stockholm syndrome from it. And before you know it, all these things that are happening in your abusive relationships, you don't even think are abusive anymore, because you're so fucking used to it. Oh, he only hit me once. Oh, he only slapped me once. Oh, I only got punched 3 times this week. It's the same thing. You're in an abusive relationship with your smartphone. Oh, it's not that bad for me. It's metaphorically, obviously. You're not getting physically abused, but your brain's getting pretty much physically abused, I guess you could say. Definitely mentally abused, but it's the same thing. It's like, you can quit whenever, it's like that. It's like the saying when you ask somebody, you're like, well, why don't you quit? Well, I can quit whenever you want. No, you can't. You can't quit whenever you want. You can't quit the smartphone whenever you want. I couldn't quit the vape whenever I wanted to. I haven't quit my there hasn't been one day that has gone by since I've got my smartphone back in my first smartphone, in my iPhone 5 back in 2005, where I've actually had like a full day without looking at my smartphone. And that's scary. Like, I've just come to the realization that, like, I have literally not gone a day without looking at my smartphone. So that's a scary thought. That's a scary thought. And Gen Z, they're on to something. They really are. They're on to something. We shouldn't be using our smartphones to do all this extra stuff. It should be for texting, and should be for calling, excuse me. Our iPod should be for music. Our CD players should be for CD players. The DVD players, the movie players should be for the movie player. But the reason why we're so addicted is because we have so many different apps and so many different things in this one phone. It is the ultimate distraction. It is the perfect distraction. It is probably the best distraction that has ever been created thus far. Even more so than any GameCube, PlayStation, or any video game console that has come out thus far. It is the best distraction, in my personal opinion. More addicting than porn, more addicting than video games, more addicting than weed, because it is all of those things in one, except the weed part. It is literally all of those things in one. Every single distraction and addiction that you can think of is on this smartphone. So what can we do about it? I guess, what can we do about it? Well, we can unplug. I know it's very, very hard to do because some of us make money. I make some money off YouTube. Obviously, I like doing this for you guys. I've been doing this, how long have I been doing YouTube for? Obviously, I like doing videos for you guys as well. But I'm just saying in general, I make money off of this. Some of us do this as a part-time job. Some of us do this as a full-time job. Some of us are just distracted, and we just want to distract ourselves from life because life is really hard right now. I get it. The economy is really hard right now. Things are really hard right now. There seems that the light in people's eyes have just seen it gone. It just seems to have gone completely. Things are really crazy right now. So I understand that it seems like people need distraction now more than ever to cope with this reality that we're in, is in America, where everything seems to be doom and gloom. Everything on the news you hear is doom and gloom. You see it in real life with the food prices, with the rent prices, with the violence happening in Chicago, with ICE and now mercenaries and this whole Gestapo thing, administration that we're living in, right? You see it daily, but it's so damaging, like it really is. And I think what we need to do is we need to unplug. We need to unplug from the smartphones, even if it's just for a few hours, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6+ hours if possible. We need to unplug from the smartphones. If we're going out to eat, we need to leave our smartphone in the car, or if we're going to a theater with a date, or for the people who can still date, I guess. If we're going to the theater to a date, or if we're going out to see family we haven't seen in a long time, we need to leave our smartphones at home or in the car. We need to silence them, or we need to turn them off. We need to cut out the distractions. We need from the technology, I guess not technology, but definitely from the smartphones. We need to cut out the smartphone distractions. We need to start connecting more face to face. We need more human interaction. We really do. Because if this continues, if we continue turning ourselves into almost literal robots, then what's the end point? Where does it end? How long is this going to go on for? And what happens to where we're more connected than ever through, some of us work through remote jobs. Some of us, like I said, we work online, or some of us, we just talk to people online and we don't ever, the more connected we are, it seems, online, the less connected we are in person. So I think we all need to start thinking of ways to connect more in person, talk with each other more in person, and just be there for one another and leave these smartphones behind, at least for a little while. I know it's hard because everything seems to require smartphones, from applying to jobs, from scanning. Even at the gym today at LA Fitness, you need to scan an app. Everything seems to require smartphones. But if we can do that, if we can leave the smartphones behind for a little bit and connect more face to face and in person, and spend quality time with the people that do care about us in our lives, I think our lives will improve for the better. So that's all I got to say for this video. I think Gen Z has an amazing point. I think Gen Z is really on to something, going back to old technology and leaving these smartphones behind. But let me know what you guys think. Leave a like if you like this video. Put a comment down below. And as always, guys, see you in the next one. Take care.